My name is Insane Raven, and I am back with another episode of Let Us Win the Field. Don't know why I call it an episode. I've literally never done that before. But this week, in episodes of The Insane. That'd be a dumb title. I'm glad I didn't call it that. This week was weird. And the weirdness started on Monday. Or was it Tuesday? No, it was Monday. Yeah, Monday. So let me explain. No, it was Wednesday. No, it was Monday. Yeah, Monday. What are days? Days are just an illusion. So starting Monday, I was at my new job, and things were great. Things were dandy. Everything was normal, as normal can be. And pretty much what someone ended up happening is that I was hanging out with Rogue. If you know Rogue, you know Rogue. We were hanging out, and I wanted to go to GameStop. I had a couple of games I wanted to trade in because I've been platinum in games recently. Pretty good rates. I had a bunch of games I wanted to trade in, and she was bored, so she came with me. So we go to GameStop, and there's this guy in GameStop, kind of just hanging out, and I know this guy. He's from high school, and the guy just make things simple. I'm gonna call him Dre, with a D, Dre. I'm calling him Dre. So Dre's hanging out, and he's like, "Oh hey, dude," and he doesn't just say, "Oh hey, dude." He turns around, sees that it's me, he goes, "Oh hey, dude," bear hugs me, picks me up off the floor, and then puts me down. Now, you guys don't know this because I never put my blubbery face, on screen, but I am not a small dude. I am not a small dude in any imagination, and this dude just picked me up like I was nothing. And I'm like, "Oh, how you doing, Dre?" And he's like, "I'm doing real good." And he's like, "Yeah, I just got out of prison, and now I cook for this place over in the other part of town." And I'm like, wait. You just got out of prison?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I didn't want to ask him what it was for. Because, again, we're just in a public GameStop. Like, we're not like in my room or his room. We're in a GameStop. And I don't know. I'm just not, like, I've never been big into, like, sharing, being open with my life like that. Which is ironic because I then do this show, every week I tell you just pretty much exactly what ended up happening in my life. But yeah, I thought there should be a limit for him. And he's already like, "Oh yeah, I just got back from prison." And I'm like, "Oh. Prison?" And don't get me wrong, me and this guy, were never on like good terms to begin with, me and Dre. Like, me and Dre, we were in the same choir, but that was about it. Like, we didn't have a lot of things to go off of and be like, "Oh yeah, remember when we did that in high school?" Because it didn't happen. It just wasn't a thing that happened. So I didn't know how to continue the conversation. So I was like, "Cool." So I started talking about my channel, and he was like, "Oh, that's cool." He traded in his games, and then he left. And I'm like, why did he tell me he came out of prison? Like, I don't think he remembers that me and him didn't hang out that often. Because he was just like, "Oh yeah, I've been to prison." That being said, I kind of do want to go to that restaurant he was telling that he cooks at, just to kind of see what it's like. Just so I can be there and be like, "I know the chef." And then to consequently being, if I don't like the food, like, "Dre, you fucked me over, Dre. Why'd you do that? Why'd you make my burger soggy, Dre?" I don't even know if that's the kind of place that would serve burgers. I don't know. No, I think it'd be fun. So that was Monday. So fast forward to Wednesday, and I wrote stuff down. So let's start. So Wednesday. I'm coming back from work, and I have to. And I'm getting ready to drive out, and my coworker's sitting there like, "Hey, dude, I typically don't ask for help, but my car got a flat. Not my car. My bike has a flat tire. It looks like it's about to rain. Do you mind giving me a ride? Is that something you could do?" And I'm like, sure. Like, I'm not really doing anything. Why not? I'll help the dude out. I'll help the new guy at work out. He's not even the new guy anymore because we hired like a new guy the day after he walked in. So we have a new guy. So I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. I'll help you out. No problem. And so I drive him. Everything's all great and dandy. And I notice that as I'm driving him to where he has to go, I'm kind of close to the Wawa, the nearby Wawa. And let me get one thing straight. My sister loves Wawa. She's always talking about it. She's always like, "Oh, Wawa, it's like the greatest place for food, and it's gas station, and it's super, super yummy, and it's super, super cool." Now, I have never eaten at a Wawa. I have never done anything concerning a Wawa, because we just recently got a new Wawa. Like, we just recently got a Wawa by us, and I don't like eating from a gas station. Like, I try to make rules about this, so I just don't go into Wawa's for food. And she's like, "No, this place is different. You gotta try it out." So I'm like, you know what? My sister's giving it like her recommendation. Let's see what all the hype is about. So I go into Wawa's. I grab my food. First off, I did not know that like you ordered your food at one section of the place, and then you got your food at it, like you paid for it on a completely different section. So I was waiting there for my food, and I'm like, wait, where do I go now? Like, what do I do now? And the lady kind of, because like I didn't get my food yet. I just had my drink, and like I'm the type of person who's like, I try to do everything by myself, and I'm very skittish about asking for help for things. Just because I'm socially awkward. It's not because, like, I'm like, no, I don't need help to do this very basic thing. I'm just super awkward and antisocial. He said while telling 70 people the minor gritty details of his life. So just like, I don't like asking people for things. So I'm like, okay, I have to do it because I'm not seeing any place to pay near the restaurant portion of this place. And I'm like, there's no way that they made a place where they made like 2 stores, and they only have like a cashier for one part of the store. That's not what they did here. That'd be stupid. Well, I ended up asking the lady who just gave me my like special drink, because the thing I was getting was a special drink, because I'm an elitist asshole. So I get my special drink, and I'm like, "Hey, this is a dumb question, but how do I pay you for giving me food?" And she looks at me like I just asked her, "Hey, how do I breathe air?" Which to her, that's probably exactly what I did, because it's such a basic bloody question. And I'm like, I mean, I've just never been here, so I don't know. And she goes, and I have my earbuds in, because if you don't know, I always have my earbuds in. Again, because I'm antisocial, but also just because music is life, and if I don't have music, I die. My heart just stops beating, and it's an issue. No, so I ask her this, and she kind of like points over, like she says something to me, and I don't hear her the first time. And I'm like, oh, okay, my music's a bit too loud, she's a bit soft-spoken, let me turn down my music, because I only had it in one ear, so typically it's not an issue, you know. when these kind of things happen. It's not an issue. I can easily walk around it. So I'm like, I'm sorry, could you say that again? And she says it again, but she says it even quieter. And I'm like, that kind of defeats the purpose of me asking you again. So like, I take out my earbud and I'm like, I'm sorry, could you just say that again? And on the inside, I'm like, this is how I die. I die by asking someone how to pay for food that I've already been given. I haven't been given, and it's been like 10 minutes. Why do people like this? I'm very confused. And she's like, she kind of like puts her arm on me. Like, at this point, oh, there's something wrong with this dude. And I'm like, she goes, yeah, it's right over there by the cigarettes. And she's saying like each word super slowly, so she like knows that I got it this time. And I'm like, oh, duh, thank you. And then I walk over to the cigarettes, and I'm like, hey, here's my tiny receipt for my food. And then because I'm so flustered because of how the whole asking how to pay for basic things went, like, I'm not really paying attention to what the girl says. And so I give her my receipt, and I still haven't taken out my card at this point. Like, my card's still in my pocket. And she goes, would you like a bag for your food? I'm like, oh, yeah. Thanks. And I start to walk away. And then we both kind of realize at the same time that I haven't paid for the food yet still. I've just, like, given her receipts, and I haven't given her, like, my card. So I'm like, oh. And then I kind of, like, laugh it off, like, sorry, I'm just dumb. And I hand her my card. She swipes it, it's no problem. So I grab my food, and everything's... And then I head back over to the other corner. Well, I still have to wait another 5 minutes. Like service time is terrible in a gas station, by the way. I don't know if you know that. So I'm hanging out there, and I'm like, okay, let's just kind of get this over with. And I get my food. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna eat my mac and cheese by the car, and I'll start driving. And I'll eat my sub. That seems like a smart plan. That is a plan. Cool. So I started eating my mac and cheese, and this dude walks up to me. He has a Mike's Hard Lemonade can. Like, it's an orange blood Mike's Hard Lemonade can in his hand. He has the Sanders in his other hand, and he's like, hey, do you mind giving me a ride? And I'm like, well, where you going? And he's like, well, I'm going to the beach. And I'm like, I'm headed in the exact opposite direction. I'm like, sorry, dude, but if I was heading anywhere close there, I would. No problem. And he's like, yeah, man, I can tell. I can tell you would. Don't worry about it, dude. And I'm like, cool. Like, cool. And then I keep eating my mac and cheese, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, the beach isn't that far. And, like, it could be a really nice view. And this guy is obviously a little, tipsy. So why don't I help the guy out? Just bring him to the beach. So I'm like, yeah, dude, alright. I'll take you. No problem. And my car, as of right now, doesn't have, like, a passenger seats, really. Like, the back end of the chair is still there, and there's still a place to sit, but there's no back support on the chair. There's no, hold on, yeah. There's no back support on the chair. There's no seatbelt for the chair. Like, I really don't have a passenger seat at the moment. And there's a part of me that's like, I should probably tell him I don't have a back support. I don't have it, like, he can't put on a seatbelt. I should probably tell him that. And then I don't. And he's like, so he hops in the car, and we already start driving, and we get pretty far. And he's like, dude, I just want to thank you, man. Like, you're such a big help, dude. I don't know if you can tell. And, like, he's slurring his words every now and then. And he's like, I don't know if you could tell or not, but, like, I've had something to drink, and I haven't drunk in, like, a year, dude. And, like, I just started drinking again, man. And I just want to drink some. I came up from Miami, and like I just I just want to hit up all the beaches. That's my dream, man. I want to hit up all the beaches off of America, and that's my dream. I'm gonna make it one day. And today you're helping me. You're helping one man out with its dream, dude. I want you to know that. And I'm giving him more of like an edge to his voice. He was not edgy. He was a very white dude, and he was just like happy to be in my car. He was a drunk, happy surfer dude, and he was just really happy to be in my car. And he's like, "Yeah, man, salt life. Just salt life, dude." And I'm like, "Yeah." So like, I'm trying to like get more information out of him because I find this dude super interesting now. At this point, he is super fucking interesting to me. And I'm like, "Dude, so like, what are you doing, dude?" And he's like, "Well, let me tell you about that. Besides helping me out with my dream, you have just met the biggest motherfucking pirate you will ever meet in your life." And now that he said this, I'm starting looking at him. I'm like, Is this dude's way of telling me he's gonna rob me? Are you gonna rob me, dude?" And he's like, "Nah, not like that. God wouldn't be too happy if I tried to rob you." Cause that's the other thing. I'm a huge Christian, dude. I'm looking at him like, "You were publicly intoxicated, and your whole dream is to go to every single beach. I'm pretty sure you missed something in the whole like, in the whole scriptures." But that's just me, dude. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, me too." Like, I don't know if you guys knew that, but I'm religious. But I'm not. I'm more spiritual than I'm religious. It's complicated. I'm not gonna explain it. So he's like, "Oh yeah." So we start talking about like Bible stuff and nothing really important. And he's just like, and he keeps just going on about like being the biggest pirate I've ever met. How, God smiling down on me because I helped him out today, and how he gets to live his dream of hitting up every single beach because I helped him get to this one beach. And I'm like, "Dude, I think you've had a bit much." And he's like, "Man, I know I'm a bit intoxicated. And I'm sorry that I'm not talking like a proper gentleman, but hey, that's what happens when you don't drink for so long, and then you just think you can start drinking again. Like, these are the things that happen." And I'm like, "All right, dude, cool, bud. I don't really care that much anymore." So I get him to the beach, and he's just like, "Man, look at that waves." And I'm like, "I mean, you just have to walk to the actual beach. This is just the beach parking lot. Like, I didn't bring you to the shoreline. Like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Nah, but you can hear them. You can hear the waves." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not what you said." And he's like, "But I can hear them." So he looks at me and goes, "Just remember, dude, salt life, for life. Don't ever forget it." And I'm like, "I'm not sure I can even if I wanted to." And he kind of just like nods, like I've told him, I'm gonna keep the faith or something. And then he walks away, and I'm like, "What the hell just happened?" Because first off, it's not. I don't usually just pick up strangers from gas stations, to hop in my car. I don't do that. That's typically a very not Raven thing to do. Again, because I'm because I'm just way too self-conscious about that. But this time I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And I'm way too like socially awkward for that. But I was like, "Yeah, why not? Dude's wasted. I'll help him out." So that was that. That's what happened with the biggest pirate I ever met. Sorry, all other contenders. Like, you're never gonna be as big of a pirate as that dude, because he was the biggest pirate I've ever met. And ever will meet. I kept wanting him to be like, "Nah, I'd rob you, but you a landlubber," but he didn't. I was kind of disappointed. Alright, so those two things happened, but then there was still more that happened this week. Because back on Monday, which I forgot to mention, the same day I met Dre, me and Rogue, we hit up the local Wendy's. Now, me and Rogue love Wendy's. Like, a lot of times, if we're gonna go out and we're gonna hang out, we either always end up at a Wendy's or at a Starbucks, cause we're quasi basic. So we were hanging out at Wendy's, and I I want to take this moment because Hurricane Harvey is important to the story of this one. I just want to say, for everyone who's been affected for Harvey, I'm sorry. I'll be donating later this week once I actually get paid again. But and everything that's going down in Texas right now is serious and should not be taken lightly. That being said, let me make my dumb joke about it. So I wasn't really keeping up with Harvey on Monday. I wasn't like high on my priority list. I knew that things had gotten bad, but I wasn't paying attention to how bad it had gotten. And I saw this thing on the news. And I wasn't. Well, I saw it on the internet, and that's what made me like doubt it if it was real or not. So I'm telling Rogue about it. I'm like, yeah, so I don't know if you saw it or if it's even real, but I kind of want it to be real. But some important Texan was like, yeah, and if you're not evacuating, please write your name and social security number on your arm so we can just identify you. And she goes, no, that was real. And like we started talking about that, and before we really got deep into the conversation, I'm like, dude, that is so savage. And like it just was, and it was just something that I said. And this dude, who is higher than all hell, turns around and goes, dude, savage. That is such a beautiful word, man. That is such a beautiful word, the word savage, man. Like, you should be happy. And I'm like, I mean, it's a fun word. I use it every now and then. I use it on occasion. And he's like, yeah, man, like, don't get me wrong. I love the word savage. I was talking to this girl, and she was real hot and real attractive, and, like, she's a friend of mine. And I told her that sometimes she was just a savage bitch. And she got all offended about it. She goes, what do you mean I'm savage? I'm a lady? And I'm like, nah, savage is such a beautiful word, dude. And I'm like, I mean, it is a pretty dope word. I like the word savage. It's a fun word. Especially when I use it. Because I don't use it often. Like, you have those people that's like, everything's savage. And he's like, nah, shut the fuck up. Only some things are savage. You're just being greedy with your word. It's like the word love. You're being greedy with it. You're using way too much. You can't love everything. Stop it. And I'm like, nah, like, I really just dig the word. And he goes, yeah, man. Savage. It's a savage word. And I'm like, I mean, it is. And he goes, alright, dude. See you around. And then he went and sat down with his, like, other people. I'm like, the fuck just between Dre and Mr. Savage over here? Like, what is going on? And Rogue's like, why? It's always with you. Like, I never meet odd and strange people unless I'm hanging out with you. And then I meet you, and I'm with you, and they all just come out of the woodworks. What is happening right now? And I'm like, I'm sorry? And then he went up to, like, and then we look over at Mr. Savage and his partner, and, like, he's getting ready to leave. As I'm watching him leave, he looks back at me, he goes, always be savage, dude. He runs up, fist bumps me, and walked out. And I'm like, what? And it was just such an awesome moment. It was like, oh, I made that stoner's life today. But then that was about it. Like, after Wednesday, my week was real chill. I didn't really do anything. I got the platinum trophy for Infamous this week. That was on really early Monday. I messed up the scheduling this week. So if you notice that all the videos kind of didn't go where they were supposed to go. And I'm really sorry about that. So let me just clear it up for next week so there's no confusion. So on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, there's gonna be, I have to kind of like look back at my wall real quick. One moment. Alright. Yeah, so the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. On those days, you're gonna get Kingdom Hearts 2 and Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4. And that's what the schedule is going to be until those games end. Until we switch those up. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you're going to get Last of Us and Life is Strange Before the Storm until those games end. I'm really sorry about the confusion. The whole inclusion of Life is Strange Before the Storm kind of threw everything out of whack. Especially because it came out on a Thursday. So I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry about there's any confusion. And yeah. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, because this is already a much longer video than most of my vlogs, but I hope the two stories kind of really helped you guys out. I said I was going to be doing IR reviews for Defenders and Joey Graceffa's, and I hope to God I'm saying that right, Escape the Night Season 2. But at this point, there's been more than 2 weeks since the finales of, since those shows went up online. And at this point, like, there's not really a point in me making those videos. At this point, I kind of feel like I'd just be making those videos to make a video. So I'm not going to be making those videos. There really isn't anything to say when it comes to those two series when it hasn't already been done. But what I will do is I'm going to be watching Netflix's Death Note, which has been getting a lot of hate recently. But I want to kind of give it a chance. I want to put my hat into the ring and hopefully see something good in it. That's kind of like my goal at this point, because it's kind of been impossible to not see Netflix's Death Note sucks somewhere on the internet. So yeah, that's how everything's going. Sorry for the mix-up last week. I fucked up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.